I was recording for the game Rot yesterday, and I smacked my thumb on my headphones as I was doing that, blasted my headphones off my head, and they just dangled off my back.
I'm afraid we're going to have to fight, Dave. Get ready to throw hands.
Well, howdy. Nearly Senior Citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day. It is raining outside. It is gray and chill. Thumbs up for that. It was raining last night. It rained all night, I imagine. I mean, I was sleeping for at least part of it. But it was raining during my walkies, and it's raining now. So thumbs up for that. And it's so wet temporarily right now that whenever it rains, all of our creeks and stuff just massively overflow. So thumbs up. The problem, of course, is you need that as snowpack so that melts over the summer, so you've got water. And we're not having that. We're not getting the snowfall during the wintertime like we should. And so there's no snowpack to melt during the summertime, which means, oh boy. But right now it's raining, and that's good, and it's a nice time outside. I'm sneezing, and ooh, my heart is just playing games this morning too. Sneezing and hacking and coughing because wet means leaf mold. No joy. And of course, front loading of YouTube videos. Thank you very much, YouTube algorithms. Hey, if you could toss me a like, that'd be very cool. If you could subscribe to the channel, that'd be very awesome. I love comments. I read every single one. I thumbs up each one I do read, which again is all of them. I answer as many as my executive dysfunction will allow. So, hey, thumbs up if you could do that. And of course, I do wish to thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons. These literally beautiful, literally awesome people are helping to slow my descent into financial ruin and despair. Thank you so very much to each and every one of these beautiful, awesome people. I am still alive now with a roof over my head and alive pets because of these people. Thank you, each and every one of you. It is greatly appreciated. Hey, thumbs up for that. Front loading of YouTube videos over. Oi. Yeah, so it's joyous. I mean, life is life. It's Monday, so I have to deal with trying to make phone calls. I made some phone calls on Friday still. I have to try and call back on some. One of the big things that's happening, and it's very frustrating, and I've got to try and deal with this, is my therapist was having some changes at their business. And so they're doing some changes. And so there was a regular paperwork change that I had to acknowledge because there's that, the change behind the scenes stuff. Well, now, of course, I'm getting bombarded with emails and phone calls about how I need to change my therapist and how the therapist says I have this other therapist I should be seeing instead, and so that's fun. I gotta call them up and find out what's going on with that. And yeah, my heart is just skipping. It's not skipping beats. It doesn't skip a full beat. It changes rhythm. But also my atria, because that lub-dub thing, you have your two smaller atria, tiny chambers of your heart, and then larger ventricles. I have no issues with my ventricles. They beat just fine. My atria will sometimes not do what they're supposed to do. So the lub-dub part of my ventricles are fine, but the other part, it'll stop and skip and wait, and not a fun feeling. Past that, surviving, going on walkies, being healthy as I can be, trying to eat as much as is healthy, not too much and not too little. There's gonna be a lot little. I am almost completely, I don't even have enough money to buy cat dirt for my cat box when her cat box needs to be filled. I don't have enough money to buy cat food. I don't have enough money to purchase anything that I need to survive. And I don't have all this stuff, so it's gonna be fun, and I know I'm gonna lose weight because I've already lost like 10-15 pounds over the past couple months because I don't have enough money for food. I'm gonna be losing a whole lot more because I just don't have any money, and I'm almost out of food stamps, which I use because I would be dead otherwise without them. So I don't know what's going to happen. I'm almost out of food now, and there's still 2 weeks to go until I get any money at all. If you could help me out, of course, I have a PayPal where I need food, and there's going to be bills, and I don't need to go negative. If you could help me out, that would be very cool for me, for my pets. That would be awesome. Again, don't feel obligated, and I hate asking for help. That's my generational stuff. I was born way back in 1962, so I have a whole bunch of stuff for the world that doesn't exist anymore is still part of my underpinning of personality that is trying to tell me how to do things. But that world doesn't exist, so joy. Thumbs up though. One thing that I have been talking about, and thinking about, so I want to talk about this sometime, is again my setting, the whole inside-outside razor's edge thing. I have been thinking about the whole southern exit creature quite a bit. In fact, quite a bit. I know a whole bunch more, and I want to talk about that because it's a fascinating thing, I think. As a character and as a person, well, my view on the characters as a human being are, this southern exit being is an abomination and should be wiped out and eliminated because it is horrific. But as a writer and somebody who likes to think of cosmic horror and just horrific things like that, I find the character to be quite fascinating. I have spent a lot of time just letting it percolate and bubble and think on things. And so I'm going to talk about this character for some time. Also, remembering too that when I talk about such like this, I'm a simple 3+1 creature. 3 spatial dimensions, 1 time sense. We all are. This is the world that we live in. Our senses and our brains are all designed and evolved to live in this world. There are other information and data that we don't know about because we don't have the senses for them, like radiation. We do not have a radiation sense. There are senses we don't have. There are brain structures we don't have to interpret that data. There are brain structures we don't have to contextualize that data to make it fit in with all the rest of the things. Like we see light, visible light in the visible light spectrum, but we need a contextualizer to put this all into meaning with all of the other data that we get. So there's just stuff we don't know, we can't know. We do not have the senses, the brain structures to interpret it, or the brain structures to contextualize it. And so when I talk about the characters, like I call this character Utak. Is this the character's name? It's all in metaphor. It's all figurative. It's all in a manner of speaking, because I am 3+1, you are 3+1, Utak is not. Are the things that I say true about Utak, if Utak really existed? Technically, no. The things that I talk about happening with them aren't really happening in the way that I'm describing. But when we take a look at pictures of space, those are recontextualized so that we can understand them. That's not the way space looks. So these are contextualized with metaphor, figurative, in a manner of speaking. Are they then lies? Well, no, they're not untrue either. Because we as human beings, we need narrative to hook facts and context onto. We need the stories to make the facts make sense. So even though if this was real, that would not be true, the stuff that I'm saying, it's also more true than not because it's contextualized for us to make sense. And in the end, that contextualizing is far more accurate than any sort of dry attempt to wrap just facts to something. Because we are narrative creatures. We tie things together with story. And so when I talk about Utak, well, it's as best as I as a 3+1 creature can do, and you as a 3+1 creature would be able to contextualize, but there's so much more, which is why I've said for creatures like this, basically I have to decide on, well, if there's a sense that they do this with a whole bunch of attributes to it, when this happens, apply this. Not in this situation, look at a different one. It may be that they seem like different characters, but that's the only way that we can contextualize it. But, that said, there is nothing alive in the southern exit in Utak's realm. Not even Utak is alive as we understand being alive. There are actually things that are alive within the realm, but that's only for short periods of time when human beings wander into the southern exit. Then things are alive in that realm for about a week. Takes about a week for life processes to stop. Objectively, Utak has been doing this sort of thing for less than 100 million years, but closer to 100 million than 1,000 or 100. They are very, very good at figuring out exactly what they want to do to entertain themselves. Subjectively, it feels like it takes decades before you stop hurting and you perish. God alone help you. God alone can help you. If Utak gets their claws into you, if you have a chance to end yourself before Utak can, do it. But within that context, Utak has been a creature that, through these millions of years, whenever there was eventual discovery, they scuttled away. But through the years leading up to the current times, there has been this growing sense of dissatisfaction, this itch that they couldn't even describe, so they didn't even know how to scratch it. And this feeling of dissatisfaction and this itch kept growing and growing and growing. It came close to having a feeling of a scratch when Utak started finding that they had mobile phones some 15 years back. When that one person who did an actual live stream when they entered before Utak broke their phone, all that information was good. And in fact, when the Crimson Kingdom sent in 5 caravans of scientist equipment and guards, that equipment, that was so good. That felt so good for Utak to go through and find out and discover and know what's going on. And in fact, this has been a whole new thing for Utak, because before, as stated, Utak has always run away upon discovery. It can take tens of thousands of years before discovery occurs, but eventually it will happen, but they have always scurried away. This time, not scurrying away, actually standing up a bit, that feels good. That feels real good. That's scratching the itch. Learning all about all this stuff that comes in with the caravans and all those individuals, that feels good. And when Utak called up the Crimson Kingdom and then started just being Schrodinger's douchebag, just an absolute, just sarcastic jerk, where if you can take everything said at face value, but it's not face value. You can take everything at the sarcastic, meta-ironic level, but even that's not far enough. It's only later when you come across the situation where the third level of what Utak was talking about happens that in the midst of the wreckage you finally realize Utak did not go into this wishing to be Schrodinger's douchebag. Utak discovered in the call that it's fun to be Schrodinger's douchebag, and that they are good at it. And when that call was done, oh boy, standing up, poking the bear, that scratched that itch so nicely. Utak is ready at a moment's notice if things get bad to scurry away and run for survival. But they have entered a new stage of their life. They were immature. They have reached the point of maturity and they don't know what to expect. It's all new and they're leaning into it. There will of course come a third point where old age starts the real slide into the end, but that's a very long time away. Nowhere near as long as the Apple Rock Kaiju, which of course lives in 3 billion year cycles, because there's 1 billion years of plenty on the razor's edge, and then there's 1 billion years of want until there are no human beings left, and then there's 1 billion years of sleep, where the Apple Rock Kaiju is in torpor, disconnected from the outside universe. As 1 billion years passes and everything fades on the razor's edge, out here, 15 billion years passed. But the Apple Rock Kaiju has been living through this cycle, well, for over 1 trillion years of Apple Rock time, 3 billion years at a shot. It's been around a while. It's planning on being around for a while. It rejects the idea that it is human-centric. But everything about its existence is tied to humanity. And I've opened up 24 hours worth of comments in my community tab. I'm going to go through and thank how many people have left me comments in the past 24 hours. As long as it's more than 0, that is thoroughly awesome. Thank you. If I mispronounce a username, no disrespect is intended. I am an American English speaker, and even though I count an American Sign Language, wow, with my depression and fibro and all sorts of issues, oi, especially with me being non-medicated again with my ADHD. We have Joseph, Provencher, thumbs up, and thank you very, very much. I am glad that you got good stuff out of that. Very good thing. Usnish, thumbs up and thank you. Confused Owl 29, yeah, that was weird at the post office. Very bizarre. We have Mr. Funny, thumbs up and thank you. Honor, that's a good thing. I'm hopefully being healthier now than I have been. I'm hoping. Jesse Koskinen, thumbs up and thank you very, very much. Very good to see you in the comments. We have Ben B, greatly appreciated. Crazy Haynes, or Hans, Hennes, thumbs up, thank you. There's Ken 555. I'm glad that song was able to keep you alive. Very good thing. Ice Damon, greatly appreciated and good to see you. Fargrand, thumbs up and thank you very, very much. There is Cool Fox with a question mark, thumbs up. Nico Bands, hey, it's been a while since I've seen you in the comments. Good to see you there. And that is it. 12 people who left me comments in the past 24 hours to get me out of my head, into the world, dealing with real people, if only in text and if only for a short time. Thumbs up and thank you. And hey, with my hands in the air, don't know what device you're watching this on, so I don't know where the show more video description is, but inside of it there are links to all of my various channels, as well as my Twitter, my Facebook, my Patreon. And again, I really do wish to thank each and every one of these Patreon patrons. These literally beautiful and literally awesome people are helping to keep me alive, and I appreciate that to no end. It is good to be alive. It is good to have a roof over my head. And even though the cost of living is far, far outpacing my ability to pay for it, greatly appreciated each and every one of you. Thumbs up and thank you. And of course, if you'd like to help me out without becoming a patron, I do have a PayPal link. And if you'd like to help me out without sending money at all, there's an Amazon wish list link with stuff like cat food on it. So very, very cool. If you could check that out, that'd be very awesome. Don't feel obligated. I don't feel entitled. And if you cannot or do not donate, I take all good wishes and I deposit them in the bank of my heart, where I draw interest. So thank you very much. If you could toss me a like, I appreciate all the positive validation I get from my existence. And of course, if you could hit the notification bell on the subscription button. Very cool. Thumbs up and thank you. Well, hokey smokes. I have a bunch of stuff that I want to try and do today. Primarily phone calls. You know, that's okay. Nothing wrong with doing that. I need to go walk to the post office, the hospital, so I can talk to the business office about my bill. See what happens there. I need to call up the VA to see about all these other things, so we shall see what happens. Hopefully you're able to get the things done that you want to get done. And if they don't, well, that's okay too. Thumbs up for that. And of course, here in the United States, the state I live in, they have dropped mask mandates. There's nothing, everybody's wandering around without them, but I'm going to be masking up until the day I die. I don't get anywhere near as sick as I used to all the time. So that's worth it right there. Depending on where you are, depending on your situation, take whatever precautions are smart. That is all that I ask. No matter what though, please get vaxxed and get a booster. Hokey smokes. But until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I was recording for the game Rot yesterday, and I smacked my thumb on my headphones as I was doing that, blasted my headphones off my head, and they just dangled off my back. And I had to end my video going, oh wow, how'd I do that? You have a very good day.